"Come sit," my father said, his tone that fake mix of authority and pity. Mom smiled tightly. My brother already had his phone out, camera rolling like it was family game night. I sat anyway, because sometimes silence is sharper than any argument. Dad slid a thin envelope across the table.
"Here," he said.
"It's time you stop being a burden and start over." Mom nodded, her voice syrupy sweet. $2,000, honey. Enough for rent somewhere small. Maybe you'll finally learn some responsibility. I looked down at the envelope, at the way my name was written, neat, detached, like labeling a package they couldn't wait to ship away. My brother chuckled.
"Smile, sis.
This is what generosity looks like." Dad leaned back, smug. "This is all you'll ever be worth." I met his eyes and smiled, calm and deliberate. "Then I guess you've underestimated me before." They laughed, dismissing it like a joke. My brother even zoomed in for a reaction shot. I pocketed the envelope. "Thanks," I said softly. "This means more than you realize." Because it did. Not the money, that was pocket change to me now. But the moment itself, the arrogance, the assumption, the complete lack of awareness, was perfect. Let them record it. Let them post it. In less than 24 hours, they'd learn just how wrong they'd been about my worth. And the look on their faces? That would be priceless. By morning, the video was everywhere. My brother had posted it to his social media with a caption. "When your parents finally kick your freeloading sister out skull money with wings." Thousands of views in hours. Laughing emojis. Comments calling me lazy, spoiled, and ungrateful. Mom texted me a link. "See what happens when you disappoint your family? Maybe this will teach you humility." I didn't reply.
I didn't need to.
I was sitting in the boardroom of a downtown high-rise, finalizing signatures for the sale of my startup, a wellness app I'd quietly built for 3 years. The acquisition had closed yesterday. $10.4 million wired to my account before dinner. While they laughed at me online, I was transferring funds to my new holding company. I wasn't angry, just quietly amused. When the lawyer congratulated me, I smiled. "Thank you. One last thing," I said, sliding over a small document. "Add my parents and brother to the restricted list. No shares, no access, no mentions." He raised an eyebrow. "Family tension?" "Let's just call it clarity." As I left the office, I checked my brother's feed again. He'd pinned the video to the top.
Perfect.
I didn't comment, didn't post, didn't defend myself. The world could laugh for now. Because soon, in the most public way possible, they'd realize exactly who the freeloader really was. And who'd been feeding them all along. 3 days later, the news hit the financial blogs first. Local wellness app acquired for $10.4 million. Founder remains anonymous. My company name, Serenite, was trending, but no one knew I was behind it. Not yet. At dinner that evening, I stopped by my parents' house for the first time since the envelope. Mom looked startled, Dad irritated. "What are you doing here?" he asked. "I came to say thank you," I said calmly, placing the same envelope on the table. "You were right. I needed to start over." My brother smirked. "Oh, please, you move into some cheap apartment, and now you think you've grown up?" I smiled faintly. "Something like that." Mom picked up the envelope. "You didn't even use the money?" "Oh, I did," I said. "Just not how you think." My phone buzzed. The lawyer's email notification lit the screen. Public ownership announcement scheduled for 7 p.m. I glanced at the clock. 6:59. Seconds later, Dad's phone pinged. Then my brother's. Then Mom's. Her face drained of color. "No, this can't be right." On the screen, the headline updated. Serenite founder revealed. 26-year-old CEO, Mia Carter. Dad stared at me, speechless. My brother's camera hand trembled. I took a sip of water. Guess I started over just fine. And for the first time in my life, the room was silent, and I was the only one smiling. Dad broke the silence first. You're that Mia Carter? The one from the articles?" I nodded slowly. "The one you told would never amount to anything." Mom forced a shaky laugh. "Sweetheart, why didn't you tell us?" We could have supported me? I cut in gently. You told me baking wasn't a career. Coding was a phase. And that I should just get a real job. My brother muttered, no one actually makes money off apps. Apparently someone does, I said, pulling up the official acquisition page on my phone and sliding it across the table. Their names reflected in the glossy screen. Founder and CEO, Mia Carter. Dad's face darkened. You've embarrassed us, going behind our backs. No, Dad, I interrupted. You embarrassed yourselves when you mocked me online. Mom blinked rapidly. We didn't mean. I know. You never mean it.
Until it costs you something.
My brother looked up, panic in his eyes. Mia, about that video. Oh, don't worry, I said calmly. You'll have plenty of time to delete it. Once people stop asking why your family mocked a millionaire on camera. Their phones buzzed again, the headline updated, now with my picture. My brother's face went white. Investors love the story, I said softly. Turns out, nothing goes viral faster than poetic irony. I stood, tucking in my chair. Dinner was nice. Next time it's on me. And I meant every word. The next morning, my phone rang at 6 a.m., Grandpa. Mia, his voice came through, steady but serious. I read the papers. Is it true? It's true, Grandpa, I said softly. I sold the company last week. A long pause. Then a chuckle. So, that's why your father looked like he'd swallowed a lemon at dinner last night. I smiled despite myself. He's not happy. Good, Grandpa said bluntly. About time someone in this family made him uncomfortable. You've worked hard, and I'm proud of you. Those words hit deeper than any amount of money ever could. Then his tone shifted, calm, calculating, the way it always did before he made a move. Mia, your parents just called me. They want to meet to discuss family finances. Of course they do, I said quietly. I told them to come over tomorrow, he continued. You should come too. I hesitated.
Why?
Because I'm updating my will, he said simply. And I'd rather they hear it directly from me. I felt my heart thump once, sharp and clear. You're serious? Dead serious, he said. I may be old, but I'm not blind. You earned everything yourself, Mia. It's time this family learns what real worth looks like. And I knew then, whatever was coming next wasn't just about inheritance. It was about justice. The next afternoon, I arrived at Grandpa's estate. The air felt heavy, like the calm before a storm. Mom, Dad, and my brother were already seated in the sunroom, stiff, smiling, pretending this was just another pleasant visit. Grandpa sat in his favorite chair, cane resting against his leg, a thick folder on the table in front of him. Good, he said as I walked in. We're all here. Mom immediately started. Dad, about the will. He raised a hand. You'll speak when I'm done. That silenced her faster than I'd ever seen. He opened the folder slowly, revealing legal documents and property deeds. I've watched this family for years. Pride where there should be gratitude. Entitlement where there should be effort. His eyes landed on my parents. And cruelty where there should be love. Dad shifted uncomfortably. Dad, that's unfair. Unfair. Grandpa snapped. I watched you humiliate your own daughter online. And for what? To feel powerful? To impress your son, who's never worked a full day in his life. My brother looked away. Grandpa turned to me, his tone softening. Mia, I saw how you handled it. Grace, not revenge. You built something real. You earned respect. Then he signed the last page of the folder. As of today, Mia inherits the estate, the beach property, and full control of the family trust. Mom gasped. Dad went pale. Mia, Grandpa said, sliding the pen toward me. Sign here. Let's make it official. And for the first time, they couldn't say a word. The silence after Grandpa's words was deafening. Dad's jaw clenched so tight, I could see the vein pulsing at his temple. Dad, this is absurd. You can't just hand everything to her. Grandpa's voice was calm. I can, and I just did. Mom's tone cracked like glass. Mia doesn't need any of this. She has her own money. Exactly, Grandpa said, leaning forward. That's what makes her worthy of it. She didn't expect a dime. My brother scoffed. What about me? You can't just cut us out. Grandpa's gaze sharpened. You posted that video, didn't you? My brother froze. I may be old, Grandpa continued, but I'm not so out of touch that I don't understand the internet. You mocked your sister, while she quietly built a fortune. You wanted the world to see her fall. Now the world will watch her rise. Mom looked at me, desperate. Mia, please.
Talk to him.
Tell him you don't want this. I met her eyes, calm, steady. You're right. I don't want this. I earned this. Dad slammed his palm on the table. You'll regret this arrogance. I smiled softly. The only thing I regret is letting you define my worth for so long. Grandpa chuckled. There she is. The real Carter. And in that moment, I realized something. Revenge didn't need shouting. It just needed witnesses. 2 weeks later, Grandpa's decision became public record. The will had been finalized, the property transferred, and the trust secured in my name. Dad tried calling for days. Mom sent emotional texts filled with guilt and half-apologies. My brother, as usual, stayed silent online, after deleting every trace of that video. But it was too late. The internet never forgets. One evening, I drove down to the family's beach property, the one they'd once joked about giving to the successful child. Waves shimmered in the golden light as I unlocked the front gate. The same gate they'd once told me I didn't have the right to touch. A crew was waiting, the same construction company that had once worked for my father. Their foreman approached nervously. Ma'am, we got new instructions. Full restoration, no expansion. That's correct, I said, handing him the signed ownership papers. Everything stays as it was, pure untouched. I walked through the empty hallways, my heels echoing against the marble floor. Each room carried an echo of their arrogance, and now my peace. I stood by the balcony, watching the tide roll in, and called Grandpa. It's beautiful, I told him. He chuckled softly. Then it's yours, the way it always should have been. I looked out at the horizon, the wind tangling through my hair. They wanted to measure my worth in dollars, I whispered. But I built something they could never buy, peace. And that was the sweetest revenge of all.